I have this workbook open, the RP workbook. I also have another workbook open called DI Jobs. I need to move a worksheet out of DI Jobs into this workbook. So I'm going to go back to DI Jobs workbook. And I named the sheet DI Jobs. This sheet is going to be moved to my other workbook. To do that, you're going to right click, move or copy. And I do want to leave a copy in this workbook, so I'm going to put a check mark because I just want to create a copy. If I don't put the check mark, it'll actually move the whole sheet out of this workbook into the other one. So it says of the sheet, where do you want to move this book? And so look, click the down arrow, and you should have the other workbook you're moving it to opened. Otherwise, you won't be able to make this work. So I'm going to click that I do want to move it into this workbook. And it says, where do you want to move the sheet? Well, I'm going to move it so it comes in before sheet 6. So I'm going to click OK. And then I'm going to move back to, it moved it for me, back to this workbook, FA Accounts. And now, did it come in before sheet 6? Here's sheet 6, and here is my sheet. So since I chose to leave a copy, if I click back on this workbook, I still have a copy here. If I chose not to leave a copy, this is what would happen. I'd right click, move and copy. I wouldn't put a check mark here. I'd say move it to this book, and let's put it after, I'm going to say move to end, and click OK. So it brings me over to my other workbook, and then when I click back to DI Jobs workbook, notice the whole sheet is gone. So that's just move instead of copy. You can also hide a sheet by simply right-clicking and choosing hide, and that makes the sheet disappear. For the time being, to bring it back, right-click and unhide. It says, hey, which one do you want to unhide if you had multiple hidden? And I want to unhide January. When you go to print, you will, by default, just print the sheet that you have selected or open. To print all of them, under your print settings, by default it says print active sheet. You want to choose entire workbook if you need all of your worksheets to print. So I just went from 1 sheet to now 6. On the job, when you're working with spreadsheet, more than likely you're going to have very large spreadsheets that won't fit in your window. You'll find that splitting the worksheet into 2 different window panes is very helpful. So to split, it allows me to scroll through a very long document. So you're going to click in the column. Like, for example, I want these row titles to appear as I scroll through the document to the right. So I'm going to click on this cell and say, hey, split it. So it's going to split to wherever column I'm selected, just to the left of it. So when I click split, this is how it splits it here. Both places. I can split right after the title, so I can scroll down. Okay, so as I go down, I can still see my titles if I had split it down here. So let me undo it. Let's split. And let's instead click like right here. So this will split my column headings, and then it will split my row headings as well. So if I click split, as I scroll down, I'll continue to have those headings, column headings, as I scroll through. The other thing is, since I split in front of the row headings, as I move this way, on my very long spreadsheet, I can still see the row headings, so I can follow my data. With split window, you can also drag it and move it elsewhere if you don't like the position of it. Now, once I get my split made in the position I want it, with clicking and dragging, then I can freeze panes, and freeze panes keeps the top row. I just do the top row. I usually want to freeze it where I have my split, so I would use this one. Top row doesn't have anything in it but the title, so that first one, and now I can scroll through, and as I enter my data, I can scroll all the way down so I can see the row headings and type in the data that I need. And that is using split. Split allows you to position where you want to split your screen, and freeze then freezes it so you can scroll through and enter data.